What's going on, guys? This is Lesky, and today we're going to be looking at another build for FIFA 23 Pro Clubs. A few build videos ago, I showed y'all a smaller, agile CDM, and today we're going to be looking at this bigger, stronger CDM build. And I think I honestly prefer this build over the other one, just because I prefer the extra size and physicality, and the defensive stats are pretty much the same. I think maybe a little bit better, but then the pace is just as fast, if not faster, even though the pace is a little bit lower on paper. If you're on the new gen version of the game, you'll get the lengthy accelerate run style on this build, and you'll be able to cover a lot of ground on the field. So take a look at some of these clips that I got with the build before we get started. That's crazy.
So you just ate him.
Chop him down. Oh, you're all over him. I was locked on and I just thought I got the ball. And
You fooled me.
Straight chop down.
Punch deadly window.
Oh, body.
holy crap! I canceled it.
I wasn't even like really doing moves. I was just going around her.
Just trying to cross it.
Crash. Oh my, lucky.
Stupid. Oh my
It's kind of
god.
stupid, dude. Ridiculous.
It's like a lion chasing gazelle.
And it's lengthy. Give me that!
He gets seconds.
Let's go.
1 second.
So in those highlights, you can see what this build is capable of with the defensive ability, physicality, and then the pace that it has. On my community page, I posted a poll a few weeks ago, and I mentioned this in my other CDM build video. I gave y'all two options to vote on this one or that smaller CDM, and this one lost by a very small margin. So I promised that I would still make a build video over it, and that's what we're doing today. You're going to be listed as a right back or a left back for this build. If you look at the CDM position, the pace drops a lot. We have 82 pace, and then when I go back to right back, we have 91 pace. So that is a 9 pace difference, and then the other categories are pretty similar, so there's not much of a difference between those. So be a right back or a left back for this build. The height 6'2", and then the weight 174. You can go down to 152 is the lowest, but don't go under 152. The stats will change, and then if you go over 174, the stats will change also. So make sure you're between 152 and 174. Preferred foot's right-footed, but that is really up to you guys. Let's take a look at the perks. With this build, you can switch up the perks if you like, but these 3 perks are the ones that I preferred on the build. So the first one I have is physical strength to max out the jumping and strength. If not maxing it out, it's getting it to the high 90s in both of those categories. And then it will also increase your ball control, which is pretty nice because right backs, CDMs, they don't have great dribbling to start out. And then the second perk we have is chase down. And if you haven't seen the perk tier list video that I just released a few days ago, then you should check it out. I rank all of the perks on the game and just give my opinion on the perks. And I think chase down is the best defensive perk on the game by far. The defender is quicker to recover and chase back when possession changes. This build is already very fast, especially on the new gen with the lengthy accelerate run style. But once your team loses the ball, you are so rapid. It feels like you have 99 pace, and it'll just help you recover the ball for your team in a lot of situations. And you'll see from some of the highlights that the chase down is coming in very clutch. The last perk, I went for a passing perk. This build doesn't have the greatest of passing to start out. We did go for a good amount of upgrades on the passing page, but as a CDM build, being able to hit those short and long passes, those A and X passes on Xbox and those X and square passes on PlayStation is very helpful, and especially the 5-star weak foot ability. We don't have anything on the shooting page, so we don't have any upgrades to the weak foot. We have a 3-star weak foot on this build. So just with those short and long passes, you'll have a 5-star weak foot with every pass you make. and it'll just come in handy a lot of times, and your passes will be a lot more successful. And then the perk is just very nice with the swerve trait that it gives you, the flare trait, so you can do like some fancy passes, I guess. But it really just helps make your passes a lot more accurate, and you can tell the speed of the passes improves a lot. Let's now head on over to the skill tree. As I mentioned earlier, this build has the lengthy accelerate run style on the new gen version of the game. If you're on the old gen version, you don't have to worry about that because they don't have the accelerate run styles. But in order to be lengthy, you have to have 14 more strength than agility on the build. So we have 90 strength, and I believe on the dribbling page we have 76 agility. So we have perfectly 14 more strength than agility. So you're gonna get the bull archetype to max out the strength. And remember, we have the physical strength perk on this build. So the strength will be even higher than what you see here, as well as the jumping. And don't forget to get these reactions upgrades, the second part sections right here. Those are good value, and reactions are helpful for pretty much any position you play. And then on the right side, we're getting some stamina upgrades. And then I believe right here, I had 4 extra skill points left on the build, and I wasn't sure where I should put it. And this is pretty good value, +3 for 2 skill points for aggression, and then same thing for the jumping. So I decided to put those 4 skill points there. If you want, you could take them off and put those skill points somewhere else on the build, anywhere you like, but I feel like that's just really good value. For defending, as you'd expect, we have cracked stats. The only thing I left off is this slide tackle, +4 for 3 skill points. 93 slide tackle is already solid, as well as the 94 stand tackle, 96 defensive awareness, and 94 interceptions. So you can kind of see why I didn't go for a perk that'll increase the defensive stats more. I just decided to go for a chase down for the increase in pace after your team loses possession, because it's kind of just a waste of a perk. You might as well use a perk to upgrade some of the other stats, like I did with the passing perk and then the physical strength perk. But these defensive stats work very well with the size of the build and the physicality. I decided to go for a good amount of dribbling upgrades. The fullback position doesn't have that great of dribbling to start out. So on the left, you're going to go all the way down to the Maestro archetype. And we'll also have 4-star skills, which I guess is pretty nice. It can come in handy as a CDM build sometimes, I guess, if you do like to be a little cheeky. And then I did want to get the dribbling at least to 80, so that's why you see I went for some dribbling upgrades. And then on the right, I went for the Lynx archetype to get the balance up to 84, which is actually pretty solid for a 6'2 build. And then we have 85 ball control. I could have went for more ball control, but remember that the physical strength perk actually says it upgrades the ball control, so it's a little bit higher than what you see here. For passing, it's kind of the same as dribbling with this build. Fullbacks don't have that great of stats to start out. And even if this build was listed as a CDM, CDMs just don't have amazing dribbling or passing either. It's pretty much the same, if not worse. So that's why you pretty much should always just be a fullback or a wingback if you're trying to play as a CDM. It's kind of messed up. I don't like it, but they just need to make the CDM build better, in my opinion. So on the left side here, this is some good value, +5 upgrades for 3 skill points. And then we have 78 curve. I just wanted to get that at least to 80 to have all the stats 80 or higher. If you don't care about that, you could put those 2 skill points somewhere else, like upgrade the vision more if you want. That could be a good idea. But the curve will help for the bend and swerve on your passes and even your shots. And keep in mind, if you're using the precision pass perk that I have on this build, the long pass and short pass stats will probably be high 80s, if not in the 90s. So the passing ability with those long and short passes is pretty solid on this build, to be honest. Could have went for a weak foot upgrade, but I don't really see the point as a CDM build, especially if we're using the precision pass perk and it's already given us the 5-star weak foot. The only thing I would maybe do is upgrade the heading accuracy to a little bit higher, because it's only 79 and we do have some size and pretty good jumping with the 86 jumping I think we have, and then the physical strength perk. So that could be a good option. If you want to take some skill points off, you could possibly use 4 skill points right here to get +6 heading. The pace on this build is an absolute joke. We have 96 sprint speed, and then the lengthy accelerate run style will help you maintain that 96 sprint speed the entire distance while you're sprinting. So it's just crazy. And then we have the chase down perk kicking in, increasing the acceleration and sprint speed even more for a short duration. And then the physicality, you can catch up to people, shove them off the ball, body them, and easily retain possession for your team. And I actually didn't max out the pace completely. I left off this +2 sprint speed to get 98. I feel like you're not going to notice much of a difference. And then with the chase down perk kicking in, it's already going to upgrade that. And then I decided to use those 4 skill points to upgrade the jumping and aggression that I was talking about earlier. And the chase down perk will help increase the acceleration mostly. It'll get that probably to the mid to high 90s. It feels like you're absolutely rapid. It's kind of ridiculous. So let me know in the comments if you give this build a try. It's a lot of fun. In my opinion, the best CDM build that you can use, especially this type of style like physicality and size. I feel like it's one of the best bigger CDM builds in the game. So let me know in the comments if you like the build, if you try it. Hit that like button on this video for me, and then hit that subscribe button on my channel if you haven't already. As always, y'all have a great rest of y'all's day, and peace out.